बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा, मुश्किल कुशा मदद फरमा। या मौला, we seek your tawfiq, ta'eed, himmat and yari. Let us do some zikr to seek his mercy, to bless this nachis with the light on the tongue so I can deliver this lecture, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, let me have the words of wisdom, the way I explain, Mawla, that it registers in every heart who listens to it, Mawla. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ni'mal mawla, wa ni'mal nasir. Shukran lillah, walhamdulillah, shukran lillah, walhamdulillah. Welcome to all friends online. We are gathered here today to continue our discussion on the book What is Soul? We are on chapter 4 and today is our 15th session on it. And we will discuss question number 77. So the question 77 says, the title is An Extremely Great Secret. The questioner asked, based on the chapter 39, Surah Zumar, verse 6, He created you from a single soul, then from it He made its spouse. For a long time I have been thinking of this verse but cannot make sense of it. For if we consider here single soul to be Adam, universal intellect, the creation of children from one single person, and thereafter the creation of a spouse is something impossible. Please kindly explain the secret in it to us. So this question was asked from Allah Sahib, and then he is answering this question in this book 77, the question number 77. So let us first review this verse so we understand the verse properly. This is Surah Zumar, chapter 39, verse 6. So you can attempt to read the transliteration with me, and I'll read the Arabic. خَلْقَكُم مِّن نَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَأَنزَلَ لَكُم مِّنَ الْأَنْعَامِ ثَمَانِيَةَ أَزْوَاجٍ يُخْلِقُكُم فِي بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ خَلْقًا مِّن بَعْدِ خَلْقٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتٍ ثَلَاثٍ ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمُ لَهُ مُلْكُ لَا إِلَٰهَ إِلَّا هُوَ فَأَنَّىٰ تُصْرَفُونَ. He has created you from a single being, then made its mate of the same. He creates you, and he has made for you 8 for the cattle in pairs. He creates you in the womb of your mothers, a creation after a creation, in triple darkness. That is Allah, your Lord. He is the kingdom. There is no God but He. Hence, are you then turned away? In Urdu it says, उसने तुम सबको एक ही जान से पैदा किया, फिर उससे उसका जोड़ा पैदा किया, और तुम्हारे लिए चौपाइयों में से 8 उतारे. In bracket in Urdu it says 8 नर व मादा उतारे. वो तुम्हें तुम्हारी माओं के पेटों में एक बनावट के बाद दूसरी बनावट, एक खलकत के बाद दूसरी खलकत पर बनाता है. 3 अंधेरों में यही अल्लाह ताला तुम्हारा रब है, उसी के लिए बादशाहत है, इसके सिवा कोई माबूद नहीं. फिर तुम क्या बहक रहे हो? फिर तुम कहाँ बहक रहे हो? At the end there is a question. Where do you turn away? It is He who created you from a single soul, then its mate, and then there were 8 cattle in pairs. Very interestingly, somehow from single soul we go to mate, and then we get to cattle. And then Allah says, then He created you from the wombs of your mother, and then why do you turn away? He's asking us. So let us just understand this verse bit by bit so we can understand the answer to the question given in the book. So the first part is خلقكم من نفس واحدة ثم جعل منها زوجها. He created you from a single soul. Then from it, He made its spouse. So Allama Sahib says that in this verse, there is a great secret hidden. And in order to understand the secrets, the tawilat from Quran, we always have to take help from the worldly examples. Because the world is the misal, it's the example. But the essence is the ruhaniyat. So the world is misal, but the mamsul or the essence is in the spirituality. And what we are trying to study is a spirituality. What is soul? We are trying to understand that. And how do we understand when we have not seen that world? So we surely have to take examples from worldly life. So when we talk of a single soul and its mate, so we are talking about a spouse, a couple, and through mating, then there are children. So when Allah says single soul, the single soul is alluded to universal soul. And when one mentions universal soul in the whale, surely the universal intellect has been mentioned. Similarly, when somebody says husband, the wife is not there, the wife name is not taken, but husband itself means that there is a wife too, or vice versa. So therefore, when Allah mentions that you came from single soul, when Allah is mentioning single soul, which is universal soul, surely universal intellect is also being implied here. And very interestingly, if we were to understand this further in relationship to the questioner who's asking the question, remember one of the name for universal intellect is Adam too. Allegorically, in order to understand, universal intellect is Adam too. So if universal intellect is Adam, so Eve, Hawa, would be universal soul because it's a spousal relationship we are talking about. Remember that Allah has created everything in pair. The first is divine word, kalima. And after that, everything is in pair. So the pair of universal intellect is universal soul and vice versa. So this is the understanding background, we understand this. So let's go further and we take the another sentence, another piece in this verse. And it says, and He revealed, Anzala, for you 8 pairs of cattle. Now this does not make sense. We were talking about soul and mating. Okay, we understand universal soul and universal intellect, but this 8 pairs of cattle, where did it come from? So the ta'wil of 8 is actually hudud-e-din. Wherever cattle, meaning 4-legged animals are mentioned and they are domestic animals, the reference, the allusion is towards Hudud-e-Din. And surely when we talk of Hudud-e-Din, let's take example of Natik, Asas, Imam, Hujjat. These are physical ranks of Hudud-e-Din. But then there are spiritual hududs too. Remember, in the current time, we are in the time of Qiyamah, which is Dore Kashf, meaning the period of unveiling. Dore Kashf, period of unveiling. As opposed to the time in Prophet Muhammad's time or even earlier, that time was Dore Sattar, period of veil, when things were hidden. During the time of Dore Sattar, the structure, the ranking of Hudud-e-Din was present physically. But this time, when Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah announced that this is the end time, and very interestingly, Imam himself had merged the Piratan with him, because Hujjat is the rank of Pir, and he had merged the rank within him. So at the beginning of the time of Qiyamah, all Hudud-e-Din rankings are in spirituality. Why? Because it is Dore Kashf. It is the period of unveiling. All the secrets with time will be revealed to those who prove worthy of it, who meet the conditions. They'll be able to get to all the haqaiq, all the realities and recognitions. Another understanding of 8, another ta'wil of 8 is from Surah Kahf, chapter of Cave, in which there's a story from verses 9, 10 to 20 somewhere. If you were to read those verses, it talks about 7 men who slept in cave for hundreds of years. And they had a dog who stayed outside the cave, and he slept, and he also slept for hundreds of years. And when they woke up, they all woke up together. So 7 Momins and their dog, the number 8 here. And very interestingly, the allegory of the dog here is given as a Momin. So the 7 were Hudud-e-Din, and with them stayed a Momin, a loyal dog. And that's how you would hear sometimes the name in northern areas. They would name their children as Sage Ali, meaning the dog of Ali, or Kalbe Ali, dog of Ali, which means he is the Momin. The humility of calling themselves as a dog, meaning it shows the loyalty to the Imam of the time. This is just a side story for your interest. But the ta'wil, the understanding of 8, can be very many, but these 2 are given to you here. Now let us go to the next part, in which it says, you have 39/6, he creates you in the wombs of your mother, a creation after a creation, in triple darkness. In triple darkness. That's very interesting that it's in triple darkness. So what kind of darkness we are talking about? Surely our existence is at 3 levels. Our lives are at 3 levels: physical, spiritual, and intellectual. And surely the darkness is also at 3 levels. There's a physical darkness, there's a spiritual darkness, and then there is a intellectual darkness. When there is a darkness, surely there is no light. So then question would be, what is light? And when we talk of light in spirituality, we get reminded by the divine word. The divine word, when the divine word was spoken to be, and it became. What became? Universal intellect. And then universal soul created. Now, universal intellect and universal soul, who are they? They are actually great angels, very high-ranking angels who are loyal, who are farmanbardar, follow the command of the Allah. And then when we talk of hudud in physical life, we just gave example of Natik, Asas, and Imam. Again, for our review, when we call Natik, it does not mean prophets. Prophets are 124,000 in totality. There are very many prophets can be present in one point in time. But it is the Natik who we call the major prophet. They are the ones who are represented by a day in Quran, as they are in the cycle. They are the major prophet of that day, meaning of that cycle. For example, Hazrat Adam is the major prophet for day one, whereas Hazrat Noah alayhi salam is the major prophet for the day two. And then Hazrat Ibrahim, Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Isa, and the Prophet Muhammad. So whenever we say Natik, we'll have to remember that we are talking about major prophet. And Prophet Muhammad was the Khatamun Nabiyeen, meaning that he was the last prophet. After him, he said there will be no prophet. And the time of Imamat started. So we are talking about Natik, the physical Hudud-e-Din. And then during the time of Prophet, whenever there is a Natik, he comes with Asas, the one who does the Tawilat of the Tanzilat. And surely Asas, we do know, was our Imam, Maula Ali. And then comes the Imam. These are three ranks in physical Hudud-e-Din. So in other words, what we are saying that when we talk of triple darkness, the darkness is there because if there is no marifat, if there is no recognition of these higher level of learning, physically maybe we may grow up, we may develop fully mature, able to function in this world at the physical level. We may get secular education too, and intellectually we are very sharp people performing in this world. But there is a darkness at the spiritual level, there is a darkness at the intellectual level. Because the world is for 2 days, it's going to end. The remaining spiritual knowledge or the intellectual knowledge which will stay with us comes from the studies of our religion, of our tariqah, going in depth of in the realities and recognition. When we don't have that education, it is hard to progress in spirituality. The reason we all have been told by our Imam to go to school and be meritocratic and get the secular education, it is not only to have the worldly progress or to have worldly pleasures or worldly comfort. The purpose was that we get the education so we can understand these books and we can understand, analyze, learn the Tawila so we can elevate ourselves in spirituality. So remember, when we talk of darkness, that's what we are meaning. And light is in the physical world too, in the form of Hudud-e-Din and in the form of spiritual Hudud-e-Din. Now, one of you can ask, but now you just said that this is the Dore-Kashf time, it is the time of unveiling, and we don't have Hudud, we just have Imam. Yes, Imam is complete. All the hudud are encompassed within him. The way we do say in our dua, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything is encompassed in our Imam, in the Zahir Imam, manifest Imam. So surely Imam is here with us, and Imam guides those who do work hard to get away from this darkness. The first light, the first thing which we do need to do is to have the certitude of knowledge. When we have knowledge, then only we can elevate ourselves in spirituality, because it is the knowledge which will help us how to walk further. So when we are talking in this verse that he created us in the wombs of our mother, surely there's a physical womb and then there's a spiritual womb. And then it's a creation after creation in triple darkness. So let us just focus here and understand in the light of Faramin, when Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, in his Farman says that you have a choice to walk on the path of becoming an animal or to become an angel. So we all have a choice to get away from this darkness, elevate ourselves from physical life, at a physical life, through knowledge, continue to walk on this path, doing our ibadat and all the conditions which we've been talking about. If we meet those conditions, then we are able to walk to elevate ourselves on the path of becoming an angel. That is to have the light at the level of spirituality. And surely then intellectuality. So it's all connected. You know, it's very difficult sometimes when friends ask, so this step and that, and then that step will happen. It's not very clear cut as per se. It all happens together. Because when we are seeking knowledge, it's not that we are not doing bandagi, we are not doing our zikr. In fact, we are being told to do everything together. Because if we do one thing, we are not walking further. In fact, we are just going round and round thinking that we are learning so much, or we are doing ibadat regularly, going to Jamaat Khana regularly. If we leave one or the other, it is like standing at the same place, going round and round, thinking that we are going further, we are getting tired or not getting results. It's because we are standing at one place thinking that we are working hard. So a creation after creation. So surely if we were to take the example of our physical birth, when we got birth from our mothers, we came to this world with our physical being. But when that child grows to become an adult, has the religious knowledge and decides to walk on this path, becomes mustajib. Everybody is mu'min, but that mu'min who becomes mu'mine salik and starts the journey by saying, I don't know and I need to learn at the level of mustajib, and starts the journey with humility. Surely the light is revealed to him or her, and that mu'min salik continues to walk on the path of becoming arif or arifa, the one who has the marifat, the knowledge of realities and the recognition. All right. So this is a little bit difficult. I hope that I'm able to do justice to it. So let us review the question again. The questioner had said from chapter 39, verse 6, saying that Allah created from single soul, and then he made its spouse. What does this verse mean? It cannot make sense that first there was a single soul, which is said to be Adam, which is universal intellect, and then through him there was a creation, and then comes his spouse. What does that mean? So we've understood that universal intellect, the other name for universal intellect is Adam. Remember, Adam, Eve, don't think of them as physical people. Yes, there were physical people too, but here, because we are learning the knowledge of wisdom, the Tawilat, think of Adam as a rank, Eve as a rank. These are all ranks. So we are talking about spiritual spouse, single soul, universal soul. And these are cycles. Okay, each cycle we do know it's of 1,000 years. We understand that. So let's say in this innermost cycle, one of us becomes mustajib, with humility continues to walk, does meet all the criteria, continue to walk on the path, is a Momin and Salik, continues to walk and becomes a great angel, a great had, to the extent that they can get to the rank of universal soul. It's a rank, it's a seat one sits on, depending on meeting the criteria. That universal soul here, when it comes to this cycle, the next cycle, here the role of universal soul, the role of a mother, in the next cycle, that great angel becomes the universal intellect. And through that universal intellect, all the creations are being made. And from the creation, one is the spouse, universal soul, Hawa. A new world of the souls into existence by spiritual marriage. Now again, if you forget about all these terms, because terms can make us go different directions. Think of our Pir's Ginan. When our Pir says, Dasi Thaine Vinu, Paranesha, my Mola marries me. Pir is at that stage, at the stage of a mother, at the stage of a universal soul. And then they are elevated to be universal intellect. Why and how? Very simple. It is very simple. Do not make it complicated. Please keep it simple. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. We'll get confused in the terms. What happens to our Pir? Our Pir says that he became merged. He got married to our Imam. Gunge sapna paya. Why Pir talks like that? Because he became one with the Imam. Now, he is one with the Imam. Imam is the one who is the universal intellect. He is one with the Imam. And surely with Imam comes all the souls. And again, then there is the Mu'min Salik who continues to walk further and further and further. How? That Arif can become Arif-e Kamil. Arif-e Kamil is a very elevated rank. Probably once it happens in one cycle. Arif-e Kamil. The example of Arif-e Kamil is Pir Nasir Khusro, Pir Shams. Arif-e Kamil is the one who has the complete marifat. Arif-e Kamil is the one who has the complete marifat. How does that happen? They become one with the Imam. What am I saying here? That there are stages even in becoming Arif and Arif-e Kamil. It happens in steps, in ranks. And Arif-e Kamil is a very elevated rank. And we can see the example today. Still we study Pir Shams Ginan's, Pir Nasir Khusro's books. We still study and we still apply and understand today. Today's secrets, today's realities, we are trying to understand it by the help of the books of Pir Nasir Khusro. So surely what he saw in his batin and the way he wrote books in the cave, I hope you know that he wrote Wajiduddin sitting in a cave. He didn't have any library. There were no scholars. He wrote it with his hand, the whole book Wajiduddin. And those of you who can read Urdu and they know how difficult that book is. It's not easy to read that book. How did he do that? Because he became one with the Imam. And that's how this cycle after cycle continues. The journey continued to go on. Let me read it directly from the book. What is soul? I hope you all have your books in your hands and you're studying with me. So let me just read the answer today. By God's favor and help and putting my trust in Him, Allama Sahib, being the scholar he is, he says, by God's favor and help and putting my trust in him, I say that there is really a great secret hidden here. The secret is that the universal soul is mentioned in this verse, in whose background the universal intellect is also necessarily mentioned. Universal intellect and universal soul in the language of religious wisdom are called the simple pair and the spiritual Adam and Eve. Thus, from the single soul, that is, the spiritual spouse of the universal intellect, were created all the souls of the previous great cycle. And at the end of that cycle, the universal soul ascended to the rank of universal intellect. The Tawili example of this is that since this great angel, who was like the mother in the previous cycle, now became the father of the souls of the coming cycle. Hence, God made his spouse from him. That is, one great Had from among the Hudud was raised to the rank of universal soul, so that a new world of souls may come into existence by their spiritual marriage. So that is the secret. Our Pir in Ginand constantly seeking to get married. Sometimes we wonder because we think of physical marriage, like Pir didn't have anything else to say but then to get married, because there's such a elevated wisdom in that marriage. It is such a blessed event. If it happens to a Momin Salik, imagine the bounties, the blessings that Momin is going to get. Each one of us seeks to marry our Imam, because that's what our teachers have taught us, our peers have taught us, that it is through the spiritual marriage a new world of souls will come into existence. So when we actually say this dua, Ya Mawla, give us your Zahiri, Batini, Nurani Didar, we are seeking physical, spiritual, intellectual Didar. And when one has the Didar, one cannot stay alive physically, because the moment has to go through the process of Mutu Kabla Anta Mutu to be able to get to that elevated Didar. And it is at that elevated Didar, the moment cannot stay as moment. The merging happens, the mating happens, and the moment becomes one with the Imam. And then that moment is doing the work of the Imam, because he's one with the Imam. There's no difference. मैं और तू की दो छोर सब एक देख. It says, Maula Ali says, if you were to see all these secrets without being I and you, like seeing two, me and you, मैं और तू की दो ही छोर, if you were to leave this pair, I and you separate, become one, then you will see the marifat. मैं और तू की दो ही छोर सब एक देख, जब ऐसा फना हो उसमें, जब तू नहीं तब वो सही है. When you become one with him, you become annihilated, you do not exist, then truly he is there. So I'll end here so we can have some question answer sessions. You know, I was hoping there's only one question remaining, and I was hoping, let me do that question too. And I said, no, because these concepts are so difficult. If I rush it, it will be overwhelming. So of course, I'm ending early. Our sessions are for 45 minutes, but let's see, let's look at the questions here. So I did cover, what does creation after creation mean? It means that a human can elevate, ascend themselves to become an angel, or can go down. Creation after creation, choice is ours. Single soul is implied universal intellect, and it's made universal soul. So no, single soul is universal soul because it says soul. So soul is implied It's single soul means it's universal soul and universal intellect is implied. And that's how I gave you the example of husband. When you say husband, it's a title because husband should have a wife. For example, if we look at women and one of the women, we say, oh, she's a mother. When we are calling her a mother, that automatically says that she should have children. That's how she has the title or the rank of mother. So your question is, why not interpret it as a universal soul? So question finishes. It is universal soul we are talking about. Single soul means universal soul. All right. So this friend who does not like to reveal the name, okay, comes before the Imam, and Asas comes before the rank of Natik in hierarchy of religion. Does it mean that Imam and Asas ranks are lower than Natik? So yes, if you were to look at the rankings in Hudud-e-Din, in the physical hudud, the first and the most elevated is Natik, then comes the Asas, and then comes the Imam. So yes, you are right. Hudud-e-Din ranking, how it is, it requires advanced studies, and I understand that you are shy. So whenever you're ready, you should join some advanced classes to understand the ranking of Hudud-e-Din in detail and understand all the delicacies and realities. So there are ranks in Imams too. I hope by now, the way we've been studying, we have realized that there are ranks in everything. Literally everything has ranks. And it is high time that we do need to study further and understand, do more personal research. And we do have now very many books available. We have to read the right books, identify the right authors and study to be able to know where we can get our answers from. Yes, we see Imam Mustawda, Imam Mustakar, we have talked about it. These are different types of Imam, the way we know Asas Imam, and we know Asas Imam's work is to do Tawilat. And the example of Asas Imam is Maulana Ali. Then when we talk of Mustakar Imam means the permanent Imam. And the permanent Imam example is Maulana Ali, Hazri Imam. They are the Imams who are Mustakar, meaning they are permanent, who have the Amar, light upon light, they have Amar. Whereas the Mustawda Imam is the one who can be entrusted for the work of Imamat. An example would be Prince Amin Muhammad. If you were to read the will of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, it clearly says, for any reason, my grandson Kareem cannot continue the Imamat, then Amin would be the Imam. So that means that Prince Amin Muhammad is the Mustawda Imam, entrusted Imam. He can do the work of Imamat. And if we see in reality, he's constantly working with Hazri Imam. Whatever projects Hazri Imam is working on, Prince Amin Muhammad is side by side working with the Imam. And surely that shows that he is entrusted Imam, Mustawda Imam. All right, so there's another question. If we see ourselves on the example of circle, then are we nowhere? So my question is, what is on the other side of the cycle from 12 to 6? Because we know the journey from number 6 to number 12, but not from 12 to 6. Please explain. Because it's a spiritual journey. So when you look at a circle, the half circle is physical journey and the half circle is spiritual journey. That's why I would say, how about getting the certitude of knowledge and then going to the certitude of I and seeing ourselves what is there? The one way of learning that what is there, it is through studying the tawilat of the Quran. The more we study Quran, believe me, we'll understand Farman and Ginans too. And we'll be able to open up our mind. And at the level of certitude of knowledge, we'll be able to understand what does exist in the other half.
I have a question.
Sure.
So in that answer, in the book where it says that the universal soul created all the souls of the previous great cycle, each, like we know that there is cycles, right? Each cycle is 1,000 years.
Yes.
So the souls were created in the previous cycle, and then the universal soul became the father, which is the universal intellect. So then were the souls from the previous cycle now transferred to the coming cycle? Because it says that way here, right? So, so first the souls were created in the previous cycle, and then it says, then the mother of the previous cycle now became the father of the souls of the coming cycle. So are these two different cycles then?
So what happens? Yes, these are two different cycles. The way Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah said that the new era has begun, so new cycle has begun. We do know that. But tell me, what did you see? Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's time, if we were to take him, that he is the one who announced the beginning. So what was happening before Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah? And what is happening after Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah? The people are there. Those who were there, they are there. And these people are here too. So this way cycle changes, in reality, it's very hard to see the end and the beginning, because there is no end and beginning. It's a continuation of this cycle. It's a continuation of this cycle. So every new time there are new cycle, there are souls coming to this world. So there's a delicacy, Shamim. I do understand what you're asking. So there is no, like, a chapter closes, a new chapter starts. Because if you think of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's time, when Imam sat on the Gadi, they were Amal Daran sitting, then we see it in the pictures. They were from the previous cycle, and they are in this cycle too. So the time changes, and the souls elevate according to this cycle. They follow the demands of this cycle. But there is no such end and beginning. It's all cycle. It's constantly going on and on.
Okay.
All right, so I have here another question. A new world of the souls were born in the existence to the spiritual merit. Does it mean creation of the world of the souls who reach Marifat with the Imam? Please clarify. Surely, exactly. Those who are able to elevate themselves, they are being able to merge with the Imam during their lifetime or after leaving this physical world. The higher merging which is liked by Imam is the one which one gets during the lifetime, which is through the process of mutu kabla anta mutu. But surely after dying, all the souls are going to go to Imam. Yes, remember we have talked about the concept of Jannat and Dozak, that even the souls, when they go to Imam, even there in paradise, there are ranks. So to answer Shamim's questions or your question, it's the same thing, that those who passed away, they are with the Imam, and souls they keep coming to this world. It's not that the birth is stopped, the human beings are being born, the creation is continued. But those who go in Imam by leaving this physical world, they are at a rank. And then the half cycle journey starts at a spiritual level. But a moment is salik, like the example of Adam, it's a beautiful example of Adam. He is someone who had completed the cycle, who had elevated his spirituality in such a way that he became one with the Imam in such a short time. So always we have to remember the example of Adam. We do need to continue to meet conditions of doing zikr ibadat, studying. Without studying, there are no ready-made answers. We got to put in our time, the sacrifices we need to do to be able to understand these concepts. Otherwise, it's just we are listening from here, it will go from there. These are very elevated understanding. We do need to continue to walk on this path to understand. So if we were to just take this group, I hope that most of you are regular in attending these classes. When we started this journey, how difficult it was. But slowly, step by step, today the way we are talking, it's really elevated concepts and you're able to understand it. But then there's a time where I'm not able to give you answer. And for that, there's a lot of groundwork which needs to be done for you to be able to understand the concepts of a higher level. So yes, Imam Hunayd was the Imam of the previous cycle actually, and Habil was his son, and it requires explanation at a higher level. Again, there are not ready-made answers. Our focus is this verse 39/6. Did we even understand that? We all want to go further. Let's stay focused and absorb what we have gotten. Have we understood it completely, what we just discussed today? If we did, then you are someone who's ready for advanced knowledge, advanced research, advanced learning. And I pray that all of us continue to walk on this path and continue to learn the advanced knowledge. Do zikr ibadat with Giri Azari, pay our dues so we can understand all these concepts at the level of ilmul yaqeen. I end here, my friends.
Ameen.
Ameen. Thank you so much, Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yani Madad, thank you so much.
Malali Madad.